Habersham 911. What's your emergency?
This is Kathy Shook at Habersham Central High School.
Yes, ma'am.
We have a car accident out in front of the school, and we need someone out here. We need some ambulances.
Okay, ma'am. Are you there, right near it?
I'm not near it. A student came to me and told me that there was a wreck outside. There's
Okay, how many vehicles are involved, Kathy?
cars.
2 cars?
Yes.
Okay.
Students in the car.
How many people are injured?
I don't know how many people are injured. There's a couple laying outside.
Okay, are all of the people free of the vehicle?
Yes, there's some still in the vehicle.
So there's some still trapped in the vehicle?
Yes, there are people trapped in the vehicle.
Okay, was anyone thrown from the vehicle? Do you know?
There's 2 on the ground.
2 on the ground?
Yes.
Okay, is there any other dangers that you can see out there? Any wires down or anything?
I don't know. The student has gone back outside, so I have no idea. Maybe I can get the student and I can call you back.
Okay, that's fine. Kathy, are you calling from 778-7161?
That's correct,
Okay, if you find out any more information, you call me back and we'll have units on the way.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Attention Station 21, Station 21, Station 20, Stations 3 and Station 2, Habersham SO and Habersham Central Campus Police need to respond to a 2-car 1050. 2-car 1050 will be on the grounds of Habersham Central High School. Will be 2 cars involved. The caller advised there's 2 persons on the ground, others still trapped in the vehicle. Will have further en route. Dispatch clear at 1118.
Station 21 clear to say.
10-4, 1118.
We got wires on the car.
Y'all trying to
Y'all stay in the car. The power line's on it.
Help him to drive that truck right up there.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Ted Taylor for WCON News. We just arrived on the scene of a very serious single-car crash on the campus of Habersham Central High School. The car apparently went out of control and clipped a utility pole. Folks from Standard Telephone have already come to remove the pole. Apparently there are 4 students involved in this. One has been thrown out of the car, apparently upon impact. The other 3 are now being helped by emergency personnel. Are on the scene. We have Habersham County Ambulance Service on the scene. The Habersham EMA is here. We have 1 student, apparently, as we said, thrown out. There are 3 more in the car. 1 has just now been helped out of the back seat. And again, some students have just now arrived on campus, have just now arrived on the scene and have just discovered what happened. There are EMTs inside the car. Apparently one student is trapped up underneath the dashboard on the right-hand side, on the passenger side of the car. There are EMTs in there. Fire department units from Cornelia have just now arrived. The sheriff's office is also here. All of the emergency personnel are here. You can see some of the students' reaction to what has just happened. One of the EMTs is attending to the young man thrown out. You saw her just shake her head and head off toward the ambulance. We have Sheriff's Department personnel. Now the EMTs are getting set to try to get the student out of the passenger side of the right-hand side of that car. One of the first things they had to do was get the power lines off the top. And again, you can see students' reaction, tempers, and emotions are running rather high. EMTs are trying to remove that windshield. The jaws of life have already been set up, and they'll try to either take the door off that car or peel back the roof. Once again, another fire department unit has arrived for precautionary measures. The Clarksville Fire Department is here, Cornelia Fire Department. The Georgia State Patrol, Sergeant Joey Brown, has just now arrived on the scene. Sheriff's Department has already been here. And we have another fellow that apparently may have been the driver is in front of the car now. They have already placed a sheet over the student that apparently was thrown through the windshield. So we have at least one fatality in this. One young lady is again trapped in the passenger side of the car. The jaws of life are now being employed to get the door off of this car to get her out. We do not know the extent of her injuries, but the jaws of life are in the process now of cutting away that door. They will eventually tear the roof off of this car to get her out and get her help as soon as possible. Habersham Emergency Management Agency, the Habersham Ambulance Service, Georgia State Patrol, the Sheriff's Department, Clarksville and Cornelia Fire Departments are all here. Stretcher being brought out to attend to the injured. There is a brace on this particular stretcher, obviously to try to help out the young lady who was trapped at the passenger side of this car. EMTs are already inside the car trying to do as much as they can. Now the Georgia State Patrol, Sergeant Joey Brown, has handcuffed a student off to the right. That apparently is the driver of the car. That apparently is the driver to the front of the car. Sergeant Joey Brown from the Georgia State Patrol Post has handcuffed the student. And as you can see, there is another student, we believe the one that was in the back seat of the car. Sergeant Brown is searching, and it looks like has found some sort of material on the driver. He is now being taken away by Sergeant Joey Brown, and of course, as we said, emotions are running high. Here's one of the students. We said she was in the back seat of the car and apparently physically is all right. So remember, the Habersham County Sheriff's Department and Sergeant Joey Brown from the Georgia State Patrol will take away what we believe to be the driver, and he obviously is going to face a number of charges by the time this is over. Jaws of life have now cut away the support. They have now cut away the support of the door. The windshield has been ripped out. This car originally clipped a telephone pole, and part of the pole was embedded in the hood. They had to get that out before they could even start working on the personnel. They have blocked up this car so it will not roll either forward or backward. There is a blanket over the student in the passenger side while they try to get her out of the car. So the jaws of life are here. They will take that door off and then roll the roof back to get her out. Sheriff's Department is just about ready to take off with the driver of that car. The driver was handcuffed. Now we have Coroner David Wall, who is looking at the student who has been ejected from that car. That's Coroner David Wall. And he will be talking to the authorities and obviously is going to pronounce that student dead. A knife is being used now to cut away the seat belt. Again, the EMTs inside the car trying to help the young lady who is trapped apparently underneath of the dashboard. And in just a couple of seconds now, the jaws of life will be employed to tear that door off and get the roof off the car so they can get her out of there. As you can see, a crowd has gathered here at Habersham Central High School after this car went out of control and hit a utility pole. Larry Whitfield from Whitfield Funeral Home, along with one of his assistants and the coroner, David Wall, are coming up, and they will take away the student who was apparently thrown through the windshield upon impact. So we have at least one fatality. As you can tell, we have some students standing around who are very, very emotional. They have seen what happened to their classmates. This is an extremely emotional time for everyone. The EMTs are just now cutting apart the front part of the roof of this car. The student is still trapped inside, apparently underneath of the dashboard. Concentrated team effort is being employed here by all personnel to help this young lady who is still trapped in the car. Fire department units are on hand just as precautionary measures. There's a lot of gasoline that has been spilled. They want to be here just to make sure that nothing happens if a spark from some of that equipment that they're using for the jaws of life should ignite something. As of right now, we have at least one fatality. Coroner David Wall, Larry Whitfield, and his assistant from Whitfield Funeral Home are here to take away that student, killed almost instantly in this crash here at the Habersham Central High School campus. And preparations are underway now to peel back the roof on this car. All the equipment has been here for several minutes. Sergeant Joey Brown of the Georgia State Patrol is also standing by. We had members of the Habersham County Sheriff's Department here. They took away the driver of the car, who appeared to be unhurt but dazed. There was another young lady who was in the back seat of the car. She did not appear to be hurt physically, but we'll see what mentally will come up later. Again, the roof has just now been peeled back of the car. Now the EMTs are going to help the student who was trapped in the passenger side get out of the car. The top has been peeled back. Emergency medical technicians have been here for quite some time. They have been in the car the whole time trying to administer as much aid as possible. The fire department is now coming in. Once again, you have to be careful of any kind of electrical sparks that might come from some of the equipment. There is gasoline all over because of the impact. They are here as a precautionary purpose. And as you can see, Larry Whitfield, his assistant, and Coroner David Wall are covering up the victim. That is the only known victim at this time. We see a young lady's hand that is sticking out from under the dashboard. They are now having to tear away the right front fender of this car. Just taking the top of the roof off was not enough to get her out of the car. The jaws of life are being employed here. Again, emergency medical technicians have IVs running to the student. She is being worked on as they try to get her out of this car. The door is just now about to come off from the jaws of life that is trying to extricate the young lady. And the door has now come off its hinges from the front. And again, she is being administered to an IV, or several IVs were put into place almost immediately. We can see that she has been severely injured. Now the medical technicians will take the door entirely off. They've brought it out from the hinges. Here is one student coming up to Sergeant Joey Brown. She's emotionally distraught knowing that that is her friend in that car, and the door has just now come off. Now they've realized who the student is, and these are fellow students from the campus here at Habersham Central. They now know who the girl is, and they can see how badly she is hurt. She is being administered to. There is a brace that has been launched from the car's running board to a little grassy knoll right in front of here. David Wall, the coroner, is off to the side consoling another one of the students. As we said, one student has already died in this accident. He was taken away just a short time ago. The fire department is standing by in case any sparks or anything should ignite a flame. That doesn't normally happen, but that is a precautionary process. All right, EMTs will now try to get the young lady out of the car. She was trapped apparently up underneath of the dashboard. This is a very, very tricky process. She has a brace around her neck. And they're trying to move her very, very cautiously onto that brace From the brace, she will be transferred to the stretcher and then on to Habersham County Medical Center for treatment. She seems to be the most seriously injured. There was another girl who was the passenger in the left side of the back seat. She was not injured too much. Neither was the driver. The driver, as we told, has been taken off. And now we can see the young lady being taken out. IVs still attached. They are putting her on the brace. She is being attended to by the EMAs. They have shut off the jaws of life equipment now. IVs are still in place. She has severe head injuries. And of course, you don't know what other kind of injuries internally she may have, as she was trapped underneath of the dashboard. She was riding in the passenger side of that car. And lots of tape being applied. They are bracing up her head and neck. She does not appear to be conscious at this time, which probably is good. Now they are picking up the brace. Again, they are bracing her head against that board to make sure there is no movement, or at least as little movement as possible. Again, students have gathered around. This is on the campus of Habersham Central High School, and students are just now arriving. They know who the students are, without a doubt. Again, they have the young lady out of the car on a brace. She was trapped up underneath the dashboard. Everybody else is out of the car, but she was the most seriously injured. There has been one fatality. 2 other people apparently not injured very seriously physically. Another IV, some oxygen now, looks like will be administered to the victim. She was braced up. They have attended to her even while she was inside the car, as the jaws of life were trying to get her out. Stretcher is coming up. Oxygen is being administered. IVs have already been used. In a single car crash at Habersham Central High School. The car originally crashed into a telephone pole. The pole broke in half. All right, they're just about ready now to put the young lady onto the stretcher. She is now being administered to. Again, she's being administered oxygen, IVs. They have attended to her ever since EMTs got here. If you look inside the car, you can see what looks like beer can cases. It looks like beer can cases inside here. You can see the students on the other side of the car. They know who the girl is, and naturally they are concerned. She is now being taken off to the Habersham County Medical Center, and the fire department is now washing down the car. There is, of course, gasoline fumes. You can see beer cans come up from the bottom of that car. The fire department is washing down the car because of any fears of gasoline or any kind of a spark or anything that might ignite. The fire department is washing down that car just to make sure there will be nothing to ignite. And they have thoroughly washed down that car, but in the process you can probably see beer cans in the front dashboard, beer can cases along the side. And as Sergeant Brown was searching the driver, he came up with something in the driver's pocket. We do not know what that substance is. Sergeant Brown is still here on the scene. Coroner David Wall is here with a student. And you can see what can happen. And you can only assume the worst when there's drinking and driving involved. The ambulance is now leaving with the injured girl. Sergeant Joey Brown, as we said, are taking out some of these beer can cartons. There were several beer cans on the floorboard of the car. Again, 4 students were involved in this. 1 is a fatality. 1 was seriously injured. The other 2 we do not know. The ambulance is now taking off the injured young lady off to Habersham County Medical Center for treatment. She had severe head injuries, as we could tell as the emergency management technicians and medical associates took her out.
The day I died was an ordinary school day. We had just been partying, having fun. It doesn't matter how the accident happened. I was goofing off, going too fast, taking crazy chances. But I was enjoying my freedom and having fun. The last thing I remember was passing an old lady who seemed to be going awfully slow. I heard a deafening crash and felt a terrific jolt. Glass and steel flew everywhere. My whole body seemed to be turning inside out. I heard myself scream. Suddenly, I awakened. It was very quiet. A police officer was standing over me. Then I saw a doctor. My body was mangled. I was saturated with blood. Pieces of jagged glass were sticking out all over. Strange that I couldn't feel anything. Hey, don't pull that sheet over my head. I can't be dead. I'm only 17. I've got a date tonight. I'm supposed to go up and have a wonderful life. I haven't lived yet. I can't be dead. Later, I was placed in a drawer. My folks had to identify me. Why did they have to see me like this? Why did I have to look at Mom's eyes when she faced the most terrible ordeal of her life? Dad suddenly looked at me like an old man. He told the man in charge, "Yes, he is my son." The funeral was a weird experience. I saw all of my relatives and friends walk toward the casket. They passed by, one by one, and looked at me with the saddest eyes I've ever seen. Some of my buddies were crying. A few of the girls touched my hand and sobbed as they walked away. "Please, somebody, wake me up. Get me out of here. I can't bear to see my mom and dad so broken up." My grandparents are so racked with grief they can hardly walk. My brother and sisters are like zombies. They move like robots. They're dazed. Everybody, no one can believe it. I can't believe it either. Please don't bury me. I'm not dead. I have a lot of living to do. I want to laugh and run again. I want to sing and dance. Please don't put me in the ground. I promise if you give me just one more chance, God, I'll be the most careful driver in the whole world. All I want is one more chance. Please, God, I'm only 17.